The shed where Dave Heflin whips up his creations that he calls arnimals, emphasizing the drawl way of pronouncing iron, like arnimals, has been, among other things, a farm utility barn, as well as an airplane hangar. So, a building that's had so many prior lives seems just the place for taking leftovers and recreating them into something new, or at least something different. Art is a retirement career for Dave after decades of teaching at Delta State. A few years ago, he and his wife retired back to her old family place just outside Louin.
Brenda works some, and I piddle with this as a hobby, and hope I can buy a plasma cutter before the year's over. That's my only goal right now. I may go a week without talking to anybody. And Lord, if I was at Delta State campus, I'd be in every coffee break. I'd go on every trip.
Art seemed to be in Dave's blood after taking a few courses at Delta State. His first medium of choice was chainsaw sculpting. He could do it, but discovered something he liked better.
I couldn't do exactly like I wanted to do, and all of a sudden, my daughter and son-in-law gifted me this welder right here. And about 02 or something. So I said, man, this is so easy. It's so simple to do. You just like a hot gun, stick it. And I've, burned the crotch out of my pants one night. I have a bucket of water over here if that happens again. And then, I did all kind of crazy things. And there's a pile over there that I call my reject pile, and that's some of the samples of what I didn't do right. And I just learned by a mentor like Steve Aycock, who runs a pit muffler stop in Bay Springs. He's my closest one. I go to him. He gives me a lot of advice, plus I get some junk from him. And I just keep learning from other people. And I've got a neighbor here, Jimmy Dice, who's an excellent welder, and I call on him quite often. And I got into it just by coming down here and making whatever I could do that was simple. And I kind of have a caricature idea about doing things. And that way you don't have to do realistic things. Beaks are too big, the eyes are too large, all that stuff, well, that doesn't matter. But I keep working until I can see something there. I don't do abstract. Even though I do abstracts, I don't like them. And I have to explain them to people, So, but some of my metal is really suited for abstract. But most of it is suited for as I see it. I'm not saying I'm an inventor, but I've got one or two objects here I haven't seen before. And I don't like to do grim, serious things. It's just, my thing to do it, have a good laugh about it, and then they laugh about it later. The first one is my daughter in Clogger. She's had her 40th birthday. She didn't want me to say that, but anyway, she celebrated it, and that was my happy for her, and I borrowed it back. And then it's just categories. The birds that are painted and all that, and turtles and frogs and on like that are bright colors. That's what I started out doing. I carried probably about 50 of them to the first Craftsmen Guild. And then here lately I've changed the whole direction. I've gone into non-painted things. I have a substance that I can coat on them called a pentothal, and it looks like it's kind of a glaze, but you don't get your hands dirty. But boy, does it rust later. They buy it, they put it in the rock garden, and if they don't touch it, it's good to go. And I don't do much mass production, but I do right here lately. I got a hold of about 12 helmets, Army helmets. So about there's some turtles with the Army helmet. And then I did some lamps. And I had no reason at all to use old rusted pipe and joints and all that, but I called it a depression lamp. And if I missed the depression, but I figured if you had any material at all, you used it. So that's kind of what to do. And they're pretty hot. Yeah. And I know flowers. I gotten into those, and I give a lot of those away because it's cheaper than floors. Most anything I do is by request. friends always have something they see and they'll describe it. And I kind of profess, kind of smart aleckly, that I think I can build anything if I want to.
Dave has a new inspiration for creating and having fun doing it. He's just had to face down a life-threatening illness.
Diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in '04, and I had a wonderful care at the University Hospital, and everything worked. And I've been now 4 years in remission, and I live my life every 6 months. So why not take it day by day too? So that's it. And I celebrate. And I go out eating me a bunch of Tony's tamales, and I said, I'm going to do something for this 6 months before I go back. And that's kind of how I live for it.
Taking on life a day at a time, 6 months at a time, has put Dave Heflin in the mindset to mix together more whimsical creations, and we get the benefit of it when we see him at a trade show or see his recombinations at the Mississippi Craftsmen's Guild. All springing from an imagination fertilized by retirement and having to face the harshness of a disease that's given him more time than he might have had otherwise. Jasper County leads the state in the production of gas and oil. It's also a